I hope you will bear with me with this video, because I knew that I could not read this to you in class without choking up. It just means too much to me. But I wanted to share with you from the book The Divine Romance an interchange or discussion in a couple, 3 parts between God and Adam. So let me just get right to it. Here we are. Let us see for a certainty if all things in my creation are good. It's God speaking to Adam. Man, by some spiritual instinct of his inner nature, knew that he was now to call forth all the creatures of earth and name each of them. The animals came forth always in pairs, each with his counterpart. The lion pranced before man with his lioness, the proud stallion and the mare, the bull, the cow. 2, always 2. What is amiss here? A wild look grew in his eyes as he cried out, I am Ish, that's the Hebrew word for man. Man, ruler of this domain. But alone, one only. Where is my counterpart? The last pair of animals passed, and man looked frantically about, then broke into a run across valleys and hills till he came to the precipice of a great mountain and began searching the horizon. Are you there? He called. Are you there? He scoured the whole terrestrial ball, then searched the moon and stars above. Slowly, silently, he made his way back into the valleys and to a waiting and very understanding God. Man again fixed his troubled eyes upon the blazing fire within the eyes of God. What is it that is not good? Asked Adam. I believe you know, man, it's not good for you to be alone. For a long time, the young man and a God not old shared in their spirits what no words, mortal or divine, could ever express. You are my image, male, alone. And it's not good for you to be thus, said the Lord very quietly. Man searched out the face of God for a long time before he replied, I am as you are, alone. A short while later in the book, this is just a few pages, you see the angels talking as God begins to make to bring Eve from Adam. And God speaks. Your counterpart is, even now, hidden in you, declared the Lord. Counterpart shall not be only for you, but of you and by you, of your life, of your substance. Counterpart will be your being. She shall be you, extended, bone of your bone, flesh of your flesh, being of your being, essence of your essence. Oh, exclaimed one of the angels quietly, as he tilted slightly to whisper to another. Then it's not creation at all. It's a building matter of sorts. The reason he was saying this is they were discussing, God said that he was finished at the end of creation, and now he's making a counterpart. Now they understand it's a building matter of sorts. I love that. But what of God's oneness? Asked a still curious angel. How should I know? Came the befuddled reply. We've been here only since the foundation of the ages and the beginning of time and eternity, not before. The whispering faded. The Lord was staring at man. Slowly he raised his hand and passed it over the face of man. Again the angels gasped. Man slipped to the ground and lay very still. Indeed, too still. Has the inward portion ceased to exist? I believe not. He still glows. But how can anything be so still? Well, let's trust, even in this strange sight, that all things in God's creation are still good. I'm jumping forward to you to tell you about this. When Jesus lay in that empty tomb, or rather lay in the tomb, still, dead, body, soul, dead. Whenever he lay there dead, so still. When he rose again from that, something had been taken from his side. And he has the scars to prove it. Now, if one thrusts his hand into water, he'll surely bring forth water. And if perchance, if one thrusts his hand into the earth, he'll surely bring forth earth. It follows then that should the living God thrust his hand into the side of man, he would surely bring forth humanity. And this very thing he did, drawing forth within man a portion of that man, a part of the man's own being was now separated from man, yet that portion was still of man. The angel stood dumbstruck, watching man cease to be one, and yet remaining one. You see, said the Lord softly, there is something, someone, hidden in Adam. The Lord brought forth from man's side a bone, a softly glowing bone, and held it up for all to see. The man is no longer one. He's divided, yet both parts are still that man, declared the Lord. One of the angels spoke. Never could I have conceived such a thing to be. Truly there are many wonders to be found in the ways of God. The Lord now turned to face the angelic host. From this bone, taken from the inward parts of man, I shall build his mate. He, the Lord's voice trembled. Every angel tensed, a few instinctively even reaching for their swords. Man shall now have one beside him, one of his very substance, his being extended. I shall now build flesh from his flesh, bone from his bone. Thus shall he gain a counterpart who is oneness, a counterpart upon he whom he may pour out his love. That's really just page 16 or so of this book. It's so beautiful. Now, chapter 14 jumps ahead. The Lord extended an invitation to the man and woman to make their abode in Eden, the very paradise of God. Often they walked with him there, and as they did, they spoke with him of many things. But on occasion he withdrew, that is, from their view. In a distant place he would watch and consider the ways of this living image of himself. They are never distracted from one another, for there's no distraction. In their eyes nothing else exists. She has no blemish, she has no wrinkle, there's nothing imperfect in all her being. He loves her continuously, and with abandoned, innocent, unbridled passion, she loves him in return. She has full confidence in her place beside him. No reassurance need be given that he loves her. She never questions, but totally accepts his love. There's no fear of displeasing him or losing him. She is beautiful. She knows that, yet there's no pride. Rather, a deep inward knowing that he's the Lord of all the earth and she is his perfect mate. The Lord God turned and moved away, but not before he smiled and whispered to himself, and when that wondrous day arrives, so shall these things be true. Of my Eve.